Stars. Sorry, Janari. Sorry,
I'm leading them leaking. I'm leading them leaking. Hey. I'm leading them leaking. I'm leading them leaking. Hey.
What's up, everybody? It's the Alex Leak and Friends NFL podcast, back for another week. It's week 5. I got the crew with me. I got Stoyo.
What's going on?
I got Gavin.
That's me.
And I'm your host, Alex Leak. Good to be back. We had a great week of football, and let's dive right into it. So much good action going on. Let's start off with Thursday night. The Vikings at the Rams was a great game. The Rams win a shootout at the Coliseum, 38-31 over the Vikings. First off, what were your thoughts right off the bat? Gavin, what did you think of this game?
It was a good game, but I was really shocked at how many points were scored. I'm not sure what the over-under was, but if you just looking on paper, you would think that this would be, sound offenses, but really stout defenses as well. I know coming into the season, this is what I was expecting. The defense is what I was expecting, but there was too much time. Both quarterbacks had too much time for how good these defenses are supposed to be, in my mind. The Rams did pick it up at the end. There in the fourth quarter, I think, is where they got all 4 of their sacks, and they were in the last 6 minutes on critical drives, so they stepped up when they needed to. But the Vikings are not supposed to have a good offensive line, and the Rams are supposed to be good on defense, but Kirk Cousins had tons of time to make all sorts of throws. Thielen and Diggs had tons of time to just find seams and get open. Really surprising. Anthony Barr got absolutely killed in this game. 3 of the touchdowns were on him.
Wow.
He's either covering a wide receiver or a Todd Gurley, and then Trey Waynes was 2 of them.
Yeah.
So those 2 guys had a really rough day.
Yeah, I saw Anthony Barr got switched onto Thielen at Cooper Kupp at one point and just got torched.
Yeah.
Stoyo, me and you have been high on this Vikings defense going back to last year. They're pretty much the same without Everson Griffin in this game. But Jared Goff goes out there 26 of 33, 465 yards and 5 touchdowns, including a perfect passer rating of 158.3. So, how shocked are you that this Vikings defense is just getting absolutely torched?
I'm definitely shocked, especially since this is the second week in a row.
Yeah.
I can say that one game is a fluke, but 38 points, you should be able to show up better. At least for once, this was an entertaining game on Thursday Night Football, which is not always the case. But yeah, definitely way more points than expected.
Yeah.
And the Rams defense did come through in the end, but still allowing that many points is not something you want, especially when you're so heavily invested in so many defensive pieces.
Absolutely. Speaking of Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs going off, they combined for 19 catches for 258 yards and a touchdown. Cooper Kupp went off for the Rams, 9 catches, 162 yards and 2 touchdowns. Aaron Donald gets 2 sacks for the Rams. And the play of the game was really the Rams' rookie defensive end John Franklin Myers forcing the game-ending fumble of Kirk Cousins. Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer after the game, quote, "I've never been part of a team that's been this poor in pass coverage." Gavin, do you think that the Vikings can fix whatever's going on? They're not out to a great start at 1-2-1 in a very competitive division. What do you think? You think the Vikings can fix whatever's going on?
Yeah, I think so. As their coach mentioned, their pass coverage is definitely the biggest issue for them. Their defense, they're missing Everson Griffin, as you mentioned, which when your pass rush suffers, that also affects your coverage in the back. So if he can come back, I think that can help them. But they have their schedule moving forward is not awful. I think they've got some definitely some winnable games coming up, and I think that they'll be able to at least compete for the division or a wild card.
Yeah, I expect them to turn it around. And the Rams, I mean, that's just a tough matchup. Rams still undefeated and looking like the favorite that we all thought going into the season. Let's go to Bengals at Falcons on Sunday. The Bengals improved to 3-1 with a big road win, 37-36 over the Falcons. Incredible game. Let's see here. Andy Dalton completes his second game-winning drive of the year. For Dalton, that's his 22nd game-winning drive. Pretty impressive. He goes 29-41, 337 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. Stoyo, the Bengals' big road win in Atlanta. Did you see this one coming? They're out to a 3-1 start.
I absolutely did not see this coming. The Bengals have not won in Atlanta since 1987.
Wow.
So I assumed this was a guaranteed win for Atlanta. I just don't know what happened. It was just, I guess, a shootout, and the Falcons ran out of gas. And Cincy won, and Cincy is 3-1.
Yeah.
I didn't think this was going to be possible, but there's always a few teams that surprise you, and Cincy is definitely one of the early season surprises.
Yeah, and I think the Falcons' problems make a little sense. They're putting up big numbers offensively, but they've got major injuries on the defense. They've already lost probably their 3 best performers on defense for the year. So that makes it tough. They're going to, be in these shootouts, and they haven't been able to get on the right side of them. Gavin, the Falcons' struggles kind of make sense, but the Bengals are certainly looking good early in the season.
Yeah, they're looking really great, and honestly, it's about time.
Yeah.
Like, this team has enough talent on it that they should be competitive and should really be competing for the division every year. It's always fallen on Andy Dalton, and he typically is the one that falls short. Their defense has always been good. They've got great players on defense. They've got A.J. Green, and they spent a lot of draft capital on guys like John Ross and Tyler Boyd, who's finally been able to be productive this year. Tyler Eifert was a first rounder as well, I believe, and unfortunately he's just struggled with injuries and is out again after this one. But honestly, I think that it's about time. And Atlanta, as you mentioned before, it's the injuries. They've had 3 really key pieces of their defense in the middle of the field go down, and so Desmond Trufant is about the only really good guy in the secondary in the backfield. And on the plus side, Takaris McKinley, their first-round pick from last season, he got 3 sacks in this game, 5 so far in the year. So definitely and looking like he's improved over last year and is worth his pick. So hopefully some of the other guys around them can step it up, and they can get some wins and stop the other teams from scoring. Because, I mean, you can't put this on Matt Ryan. He's the first quarterback in NFL history to lose back-to-back games when throwing for 350 yards or more, 3 picks, and 0 interceptions, and still lose the game. It's unheard of. When you play at that level, you're playing that well, and you still lose the game. It obviously is not the offense's fault. It's the defense, because they can't keep anyone from scoring. So I really hope that they can pull it together, because I'd like to see them be competitive. I think this division, it's always the most interesting. It has been the last few years, at least, because there's been a handful of teams that are competitive.
Yeah, we'll see if Atlanta can figure it out. We've seen them, even with a lot of talent around them, have really bad years when they get out to bad starts. So hopefully they fix it. Good stuff for the Bengals, seeing Tyler Boyd finally producing. It does suck to see Tyler Eifert go down. He had a pretty nasty broken ankle in this game, and will most likely be out for the year. The Falcons will look to bounce back in Week 5 at Pittsburgh, so another tough game coming up for Atlanta.
Before we head off that one quick, just want to bring up that Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, he's balling.
He made Dre Kirkpatrick look like a fool. He almost fell down as he got his probably the easiest touchdown he's going to get all year. And he's got more touchdowns this year this year than Julio Jones has gotten since the beginning of 2017.
Wow. Yeah, it's good to see Atlanta not trying to force-feed Julio and getting Calvin Ridley involved. We all know he had the talent, and now he's had, a few touchdowns here the last 2 weeks, so good to see him breaking out. Stoyo, let's talk about this game. The Bucs at the Bears at Soldier Field. I think we all expected a good, tough battle here with Fitzpatrick slinging the ball over the field, but the Bears maul the Bucs in Soldier Field 48-10 behind 6 Mitch Trubisky touchdowns. The Bears are on a 3-game winning streak. I did not see this coming at all. Trubisky combines for 407 yards, 6 touchdowns, and no turnovers. 5 touchdowns in the first half. Incredible performance from him. And what do you think about the Bears and especially Trubisky's breakout game here, Stoyo?
This is exactly what I wanted to see from him. He needed to have a statement game, and he finally had it, and it was way better than expected.
Yeah.
I was just hoping we were going to win this game, and he was going to have like a 2, perhaps 3 touchdown effort, but he went for 6. 5 by halftime. This was like unbelievable. He finally made those throws he was supposed to make. He was comfortable in the pocket. The offensive line gave him time. And Nagy just called a great game and just saw something in that Bug defense and just attacked it over and over again. And I like the fact that we were up big and we still attacked and we did not want to have a repeat of game 1. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is the first game where I can say, okay, he played like a number 2 overall pick.
Yeah.
This is something I've never seen in Chicago, like 6 passing TDs. This is unbelievable. Like, this is a 21st century offense. It's just, wow. I was in pure shock. Like, the entire week I've just been like, on 7th heaven, like, is at least Trubisky did it once. Even if he doesn't do it again, he's done it once and it's on tape. So it's a possibility that he's going to turn into something.
So
I mean, there's hope now.
That being said, and he did it this week, and we're on 7th heaven this week. What do you expect out of Trubisky going forward? Is this just a flash in the pan, or did you see stuff on Sunday that can translate that he can get better and we can see more of these type of performance out of him? Maybe not 6 touchdowns, but like 3 or 4 and no turnovers.
He had a good game last season against the Bengals,
where
he aired it out and had a decent game. He had almost a game-winning drive against Detroit where he like ran for a first down on the 4th down, and then our kicker ended up missing the game-winning or the game-tying field goal. But so there was a flash in the pan. I just expect more now, and it was just nice to see. I was losing patience a little bit, and was getting very worried, thinking it was just never going to happen, because he just looked so uncomfortable out there. But if we keep giving him time, and the coach just has a good game plan, I think we can go very far, because this game, the offense won the game for us, and for once, the defense did not have to suffer with all of that time on the field. So
absolutely,
if you can keep this defense fresh and keep Mac on off the field for a little bit, it's gonna get wild.
Yeah, and I mean, it's easy to get carried away, after this game, but it's nice to see. I think we were all getting a little impatient, and it's nice to see Trubisky has the potential to do this kind of stuff. Gavin, what do you think of this game? Is this more so you think this is Trubisky and the Bears playing great, or is Tampa Bay really bad, especially on defense? What do you think?
The Bucs have allowed 139 points through their first 4 games. That's the most in franchise history.
All right.
So I'm going to say that the majority of it is the Bucs being awful.
Uh-huh.
Yes, they are 2-2, but if you look at the last two games, the Fitz magic was gone.
Yes.
And that was the only reason that they won those first two games, because they were able to put up a ton of points because Fitzpatrick was playing out of his mind. That being said, it was it's hard for me to say this, but just from a football perspective, it was good to see Trubisky making the throws that he should be making. I think that was his problem in the past. Is he'd be missing throws that should be completions for him.
Yeah.
And the Tampa Bay defense they didn't know what they were doing. You said that Nagy saw something in their defense. He saw nothing in their defense. Just go out there and you'll be open. The Trey Burton touchdown, there was no one within 30 yards of him when he caught the ball, like in the end zone. It's crazy.
But this is why the play was designed that way. Like, they had decoys and shit.
Yeah.
But no one should ever be that open in the end.
I agree.
Like, there's no scheme, there's no play that should allow a pass-catching tight end to be that open. The defense is awful, but it was good to see Trubisky, like I said, making the throws he should. But more importantly to me, finally, you remember that Tariq Cohen's on your team.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I get it last year. John Fox is in charge. He's an idiot. He doesn't know how to use an offensive weapon. But the first three games, Tariq Cohen was not utilized like I would want to on an offense. He's a dynamic player. We saw flashes of it last year when the ball was kind of forced on him, like, punt returning and, some early game catches out of the backfield. But he still wasn't being used this year, so I was really excited to see him get more chances. He got more touches than Jordan Howard, who I don't think is a bad back. But Tariq Cohen is definitely more explosive, and in today's NFL, he's the back that should be getting more attention on offense. So I was really excited to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. You hit that right on the head. Cohen's got to be involved. I mean, he's a Darren Sproles, Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey type. You want to get him the ball in space and see what he can do. And it's nice to have the two running back system. And if we can get Cohen some touches, good. You got to get him involved. What did you think? What did you guys think of this? Ryan Fitzpatrick, going into this game, everyone was saying you got to ride the hot hand. You got to go with Fitzpatrick. There was no pushback with starting Winston here in Week 4. He goes out there and they're down 38-3 at the halftime, and they pull him and put in Winston. Did you think this is just like the score? Like, do you think that Fitz will start Week 5? Do you think that was a quick pull? Is it really Fitzpatrick's fault that they were down 38-3? What did you think of that quarterback move there in Tampa Bay? Either one of you.
I think that's the right play. I mean, honestly, unless we all knew, I think, that Fitzpatrick was going to regress from his first two games, I don't think anyone expected him to be able to play up to that level moving forward. And this is potentially Winston's last year in Tampa. I believe there's a team option on his contract this year
for like $20 million next year.
Right, it's a lot of money. But actually, $20 million for starting quarterback these days is not super high.
Yeah.
So money wise, that's not a problem. But if he's not going to be a good starter, there's no point in keeping him. So as from an outside perspective, not a Tampa Bay fan. Just from a business standpoint, you need to play Jameis Winston as much as possible. He was suspended the first 3 games. I get it. And Fitzpatrick played so good. I understand you got to give him a chance. But he didn't play amazing in this game. And you need to find out what you have in Jameis Winston moving forward. Because if he can be your franchise quarterback, you need to keep him. You need to extend him. But if he's not going to be your franchise quarterback, you need to find that out. And if you don't already know that, the only way to find that out is by playing him.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as far as I'm concerned, you have to play Winston. Respect for Fitzpatrick, and he's been a journeyman, but he's played well multiple times on multiple teams. But just from a business standpoint, you have to play Jameis Winston now.
Yeah, I agree. Even if it means a down season, even if it means a losing season, that's the best thing you want for your franchise is to know whether or not you have that guy.
Because Fitzpatrick isn't going to play. It's not likely he's going to play well, well enough to get you into the playoffs. Not in that division, not in the NFC, and so I'd rather find out for sure about Winston or not. And if I'm going to suck and get, a top 10 pick, I'd rather do that, knowing that I need to get a quarterback rather than, well, we didn't really play Winston this year. Maybe. I don't want that. I want to know.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. As much as the offense tore it up in this game, Bears star linebacker Khalil Mack was at it again. 4 tackles, a sack, and a forced fumble. The first player since Colts Robert Mathis in 2005 to register a sack and a forced fumble in 4 straight games. And he has popped up on some early MVP consideration as a defensive player, so that's pretty impressive. Bucks head coach Dirk Cutter on the game, quote, "We should fire every person that was on the field today, starting with me. That was horrific," end quote. The Bucks and the Bears head into their bye week, and the Bucks will look to right the ship in Week 6 at Atlanta. Let's move. Still, you have anything else about the Bears game you want to add?
Well, I just wanted to say that for the Fitzpatrick famous decision, to me it just made sense. You don't want your franchise QB to face the best defense in football right now.
Okay.
It's like sacking the QB left and right. So to put him in when the game is already over, when the defense is not going to go after him just as much, is a good way to ease Winston back into playing condition. So yeah, I feel like the Fitzpatrick thing is over, and now you do have to figure out if Famous is your franchise QB.
Yeah, and his first opportunity after the bye will be at Atlanta, and we just talked about how bad their defense is, so an opportunity for him to seize control of the starting spot once again. Let's go to Lions at Cowboys, where the Cowboys came up clutch and kicked their way past the Lions 26-24 in Jerry World. Gavin, let me get your reaction to this. This was a hard-fought, good game, but a game that the Lions needed to win and couldn't quite get it done. Stafford was clutch. Once again, leads a late touchdown drive to take the lead, but the defense couldn't get it done. What'd you think?
I think we lost because we wore those awful gray uniforms. Those are so bad. That's clear. We were clearly just so depressed. It was. This was. I still don't know what to think of Matt Patricia. I wasn't on last week, but I wasn't able to talk about how pissed I was that we beat the Patriots. I feel like now.
You were mad that they beat the Patriots?
Oh, yeah, because I have zero faith in Matt Patricia.
Uh-huh.
Zero whatsoever. And I feel like we were so unprepared for the Jets, and we stepped up and we didn't just squeak by the Patriots. Like, we beat them by double digits, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
It was like we were going to win that game. It was known. We shouldn't have, but we did somehow. So I feel like he prepped just because, like, I gotta beat the old boss. And then he's like, oh, okay, yeah, we did that. And now, 2 weeks ahead is the Packers. So now we got to prepare for the Packers. Oh, the Cowboys, they're not that good. All right, we're gonna, and then we get our asses handed to us by the one guy on offense that is any good on that team.
Yeah.
And we just get our asses handed to us by Zeke Elliott. It boggles my mind how underprepared we were for this game. And so I was pissed we beat the Patriots, because when you beat the Patriots, you get like 1,000 years of grace from any owner, because, well, you beat the Patriots that one time. You can't be that bad of a coach. So I was really mad because I can't wait for Patricia to get fired, and now you beat Belichick. It's going to be 2 years later than I wanted it to be.
Against the Patriots, since we didn't have you on, Kerryon Johnson finally lifts the monkey off the back and goes for 100 yards for the Lions, and they get the win. Do you think that's something that they can start to do going forward? He only had 50 yards in this game.
Yeah, 50 yards on 9 carries.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Leaps and bounds better than any other running back we have on our team, and we still aren't utilizing him. I don't understand. I was going to bring that up. And it's like, oh, yeah, we saw how good he was last week, and then we still don't use him this week. It makes zero sense to me whatsoever. But yeah, we need a more balanced offense, and we're headed that way. And we've seen some glimmers of hope with Johnson and how effective he's been. And I really hope that we can use him more moving forward. I know we've got some really talented receivers. Kenny Golladay made some great catches. Golden Tate was on fire, getting those yards after catch. Careful with that taunting, though. You almost got that touchdown knocked away because you rolled the ball out, you dummy. I'd hate him so much if he wasn't on my team. But, yeah, I really hope we can use Johnson more moving forward, and I really hope that our linebackers can learn how to play some defense. Your boy, Christian Jones, lost that game for us. He was staring down Zeke and let the tight end just run right in front of him, not behind him, in front of him, and he just lets him go over, and they get a wide-open touchdown because he's worried about Zeke catching a little screen pass.
Well, as much as Christian Jones is worried about Zeke, you wish the other team was to hold him down a little bit too. Detroit has got to figure out the defense and the running game. I mean, they're a good team. They're competitive here. Stoyo, what did you think? Do you think the Cowboys are starting to get it together, or was this a bad loss for Detroit? What did you think of this game?
I just thought that the Cowboys are decent, are better at home.
Yeah.
And when Zeke is able to run, then the Cowboys are always in the game. And also, I would like to say that the reason why Patricia beat New England is because he knows the playbook. I mean, he was over there the past, 5-6 seasons?
Yeah.
Or how long has he been around Bill Belichick? So he has to know that offense by heart. So it was kind of not that huge of an accomplishment to me. But, yeah, Detroit is always, struggling in those close games. And it pains to say me, but Stafford once again had a game-winning drive that it didn't work out for them. So at some point, Stafford's going to get mad.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing all he can do, it seems. We'll see what happens there. The Cowboys' DeMarcus Lawrence, defensive end, registers 8 tackles and 3 sacks in this game, giving him 5.5 on the year. And TJ Lang, the Lions guard, leaves the game in the first quarter with a concussion, so that doesn't help things. Zeke Elliott went off 240 combined yards and a touchdown, including a huge over-the-shoulder catch late in the fourth to set up the game-winning field goal. Cowboys kicker Brett Mayer goes 4 for 4, including the game-winning 38-yarder. The Lions will look to bounce back week 5 against the Packers. Right? Yeah, against the Packers this week.
Yeah.
So that'll be a big game. Let's go to, what do you think, Gavin? Do you have anything going into that Green Bay game? What do you want to see out of Detroit? You think they can get the win at home?
I'd like to think so. I think Rodgers, he might be a little bit hobbled still. She's not looking 100%. I think that might be our only chance because we clearly can't stop an offense when they have a middle-of-the-road quarterback and one offensive weapon. When you've got a really good quarterback and multiple weapons, should be a little bit harder, but we'll be at home, so I guess there's a chance. I still don't know how to read Patricia. If he just steps up for the big games. This could be a trap game. Cowboys didn't look good coming into this game, so maybe we just felt like we didn't have to try so hard. But maybe it's at home. I don't know. I want to believe that doesn't suck, but my gut says that he's just not a good coach.
Yeah, I feel you. My gut felt that way when Trestman had the clipboard. So. Let's go to Bills at Packers. After the Bills shocked the Vikings last week, they come back down to earth and lose 22-0 in Lambeau. The Packers get their second win of the season. Aaron Rodgers, 22 of 40, 298 yards, a touchdown and 2 turnovers, a pick and a fumble. Josh Allen, the Bills rookie, gets the start, 16 of 33, 151 yards, 3 turnovers. Stoyo, easy win for the Packers here. Pretty much what you expected, easy win, and the Bills suck, right?
Pretty much. Like, I don't know what happened with the Minnesota game last week, so I'm not going to debate that one. I just got pretend that the Bills are just sucking and the Packers are what they're supposed to be, because I don't know what happened last week. So, yeah, this is what I expected. I probably thought that Josh Allen could get a touchdown, but apparently not. So that Green Bay defense doesn't look too badly, but once again, they're playing the Bills. So
Absolutely. Packers linebacker Kyler Fackrell records 4 tackles and 3 sacks. Bills rookie quarterback Josh Allen after the game says, quote, "I take this one on the shoulders. We can only go as far as the quarterback goes," end quote. Packers defense leads the way with 7 sacks in the shutout. Gavin, what did you think of this game? Is this just pretty much what you expected?
Yeah, I'm not surprised that they didn't score at all. Packers defense is a little bit better than it's been in the years past. Josh Allen, I don't think is ready, and I don't think there's enough talent around him to make up for that. If you don't believe me, he leads the team in rushing with 116 yards through 4 games.
Is that good?
That'd be good for one game for a running back.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have a whole lot of talent around him. There's no running game to take some of the pressure away from him. Kelvin Benjamin's been a major disappointment. I can't wait to hear what he says when he goes to his next team about how bad Josh Allen is. If he thinks that Cam Newton's that bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as the outcome of this game, not surprising at all. All the sacks, all the lack of points on the Bills side of the scoreboard. Yeah.
All right. Just when you think everything's going good in Green Bay, they play the Bills at home, they blow them out 22-0. Tell me what you guys think about this. After the game, there was some shots thrown. Packers star quarterback Aaron Rodgers taking a shot at head coach Mike McCarthy. Here's the quote. "We played as bad as we have on offense with that many yards in a long time. There was no flow to the offense. We need to find ways to get our playmakers in better positions to make plays. Devontae should have had 20 targets today. It's a game plan thing. We should have had 600 yards and 40 points. Offense was not acceptable. We played championship-level defense and non-playoff level offense." Now, when I hear that, I can only see he's not criticizing himself, so that's a shot at play calling. That's a shot at head coach Mike McCarthy, am I right?
absolutely.
And so, that's pretty interesting. Coming off a win, taking shots at your head coach. McCarthy responds, quote, "We allow Aaron to do a lot at the line of scrimmage," end quote. So, a.k.a. call audibles, it's your offense. They give Aaron Rodgers a lot of freedom at the offensive line, which everyone would expect. So, it seems to be McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers are throwing shots at each other a little bit here. Is that what you're reading here, Gavin?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Not too surprising after the offseason that they had, giving away the, not signing the quarterback coach, not cutting Jordy Nelson, who is the Aaron Rodgers and Jordy Nelson. I saw earlier today that they were the number 2 quarterback receiver combo, and quarterback, and that includes tight ends, running backs, and all that as far as efficiency goes. And then they let him go. His favorite target's gone. His quarterback coach is gone. And he's only got 1 title, and he might be the best quarterback in the league right now. Might
Absolutely.
be over the last 5-6 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be frustrated if I were him. And yeah, they should have beat this team by more. They got they shut out the Bills, and they only have 22 points, and they're supposed to have a prolific offense. I don't think that Aaron Rodgers should have to do McCarthy's job as far as game planning goes. If he is, then he needs to get that third of McCarthy's salary for handling that side of the ball. So I have no problems with him calling this out. I really like seeing a guy get a win, but when they're underachieve, strive to want more than just the W. He knows that they're a playoff team, and they can't play like this, and they got to start practicing that now. So as much as it sucks for us next week, as far as just a football aspect, I do appreciate that.
Stoyo, who is more to blame here? Is this more on Mike McCarthy for the game plan and the coach play calling, or Aaron Rodgers has freedom at the offensive line to audible and run the plays that he likes? Who would you blame more here?
I don't know who I would blame more. I'm just, first of all, surprised this is happening publicly
Yeah,
on week 4.
yeah.
I mean, you
Early.
just won 22-0. I don't think this should happen publicly. If this happens privately, I don't have a single problem. But if it's already happening publicly by week 4, this is going to be a long season.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Rodgers is mad that some of the things went down this offseason, but Aaron also has to remember that he wants to get paid a buttload of money, and with that type of money, your supporting cast is not going to be as good as you want to. So you can have it both ways. I believe that if they don't go far into the playoff, McCarthy is going to get fired this offseason because they committed to Aaron Rodgers. And yeah, he's definitely pissed off that he has been the best QB for a bit now and he only has one title, and he doesn't think that McCarthy is the guy that's going to lead him there.
I agree 100%. I was just going to say I think that McCarthy is definitely on the hot seat, and unless they win the division or go far in the playoffs, this could be his last year as head coach there. I asked Josh about this, and he said he doesn't want to see McCarthy leave, but he understands it's a business, and if you're not getting it done or if you're not having a good relationship with your star quarterback, you can't stick around. So we'll see if this continues on. As a Bears fan, I hope it goes all year long.
I think that the signing in the offseason has given Rodgers the balls to do this because he knows the team is stuck with him.
Yeah.
And that's a good problem to have, I would think. Mm-hmm. And McCarthy is expendable, and so now he can speak freely and speak his mind on these things. And they haven't done anything with McCarthy other than they did win one Super Bowl, but when you've got Aaron Rodgers, you should be a lot more competitive than that, and should have at least one more ring, I think. And so now that he's been signed to a long-term deal, he's got a few years where he can say his piece until he gets what he wants, which it sounds like might be a new coach.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a good points. The Bills will look to turn things around week 5 when they host the Tennessee Titans. Speaking of the Tennessee Titans, they hosted the Eagles and got a clutch win, 26-23 in overtime at Nissan Stadium in Nashville. Impressive win for the Titans. They improved to 3-1. Mariota combines for 390 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. He hit Corey Davis for 9 yards, 161 yards, and a touchdown. Titans rookie linebacker Harold Landry registers his first NFL sack and forced fumble. Stoyo, how surprised are you that the Titans beat the defending champs here with Carson Wentz back?
I am pretty surprised, even though this was Carson's first game back.
Yeah.
And yeah, they came through at the end. Corey Davis finally has his first touchdown, I believe. And yeah, it was an entertaining game. Philadelphia is definitely struggling a little bit. And I don't know if they need to get it going. If not, it's going to be another Super Bowl hangover. It was nice to see my boy Alshon Jeffrey back.
Yep.
With a strong game with 8 receptions, 105 yards, and a TD. It was good to see, and I'm glad to see him back. And hopefully Philly can find its way and turn it around.
Yeah.
Props to Tennessee. I wasn't a huge fan of the Mike Rabel signing, but 3-1.
Good
there
start.
You go. I mean,
yeah,
it's a great start. Mariota is looking pretty good, and they're finding good ways to use him. And as long as he stays healthy, I guess Tennessee could go pretty far. I am surprised by Derrick Henry. He's having a terrible season. Since he took over as the main back, I expected big things for him. But so far, he's just, I don't know, not finding his ways.
Yeah, hopefully he can figure it out as the season goes. But regardless, a great start to the year for the Titans. Some bad news for them is that linebacker Wesley Woodyard, their leading tackler, and safety Kenny Vaccaro both were injured in this game and did not return. So we'll see if that affects the Titans going forward. Gavin, what did you think of this game? And big win for the Titans. I know it's at home, but against the defending champs. How are the Titans looking to you so far this year?
Yeah, I think the Titans are looking really good this year. They've beat the Jaguars on the road. They barely lost to the Dolphins on the road, and then they beat the Texans at home, who have a lot of weapons on offense. We'll be talking about them in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they defeat the defending champions. They defeat what probably should have been the defending AFC champions on the road. They seem to be clicking this game. Their offense was able to get it together. Stoyo brought up Mariota's health, and one thing to be concerned about, kind of a tangent also with Derrick Henry, is that Mariota rushed 10 times, and the other two backs combined for 12 carries. And a guy of Mariota's size is a little bit smaller quarterback, so you got to be worried about him rushing the ball so much. But you also have to like what you saw from him throwing the ball, getting Corey Davis involved. That throw he made on the fourth down conversion, 4th and 15 in OT, down 3. Great throw. Maybe a little bit of bad defense by the Eagles, but nonetheless, he put it where he was supposed to. Maybe would have had one other touchdown if I don't remember the guy's name, but there was a wide open touchdown that one of the receivers dropped. Just bounced right off of his chest.
Wow.
So good looking by Mariota. And as far as the Eagles goes, by the way, it's the second game back for Wentz. He did play last week against the Colts as well.
Nice.
But last year they had 12 games with 25 or more points, led the NFL. So far this year, they have yet to go over 25 points once. So, obviously with Nick Foles playing the first 2 games and Wentz only playing 2, still, shaking some rust off. Maybe that's some struggles. But they also got Alshon Jeffrey back, who eclipsed the century mark and got a touchdown. So, I don't think it's a bad thing for the Eagles necessarily. They're on the road. In our preseason podcast, I'd mentioned that Titans might be one of the dark horse teams if everything, played out right for them. And so far, I think that's it's headed in that direction.
Yeah, absolutely. And we had mentioned also in the preseason that maybe the Eagles might get out to a slow start with Foles and Wentz coming off an injury and Jeffrey being suspended. So 2-2 in a not super competitive. No one's running away with that division. So Eagles fans, no need to panic just yet, and hopefully Wentz will get it going. The Eagles will look to turn things around Week 5 in a home game against the Vikings. So that'll be a good game. I'll be watching that one. Let's go to the Texans at the Colts. Texans, I was at this game, and I loved every minute of it. The Texans outlast the Colts 37-34 in overtime at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indy. Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson combines for 416 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Luck threw the ball 62 times, completing 40 for 464 yards, 4 touchdowns and a fumble. If you're throwing the ball 62 times, that surgically repaired shoulder must be pretty good. Gavin, what did you make of the Texans and Colts in a barn burner 37-34 overtime win?
Yeah, really jealous that you were able to be at that game. That must have been really exciting just to see those two teams put on this offensive light show.
Yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins, man, he gets separation after like 3 steps, and you just can't catch him. He ran across the entire field multiple times, and the defenders just way behind him trying to catch up. It's pretty nuts. Will Fuller, I hope that he can stay healthy, because with Deshaun Watson, through those 7 games, he's got 10 touchdowns. Without him, in 20 games, he's got 2 touchdowns. So obviously those two have a connection and make that offense all the more dynamic. And then Kiki Kuti, I think that's how you say his last name.
Yeah.
11 catches, 109 yards. They now might have 3 really good receivers on their squad. This offense, just like last year, took him a little while for Watson to get into gear, and we might be seeing that same thing happening this year.
Yeah, I gotta say, watching the Colts offense, I had to catch myself a couple times saying who. Luck was throwing balls to wide receiver Pascal. I've never heard of this guy before. You guys know Pascal?
Pascal Rabukamba?
No, different guy.
To say that.
And then rookie running back Naheem Hines, 9 catches for 63 yards and 2 touchdowns. He caught a touchdown right in front of me. It was pretty cool. So he could be a good weapon, but yeah, never heard of the guy before. Defensively, stars in Houston, J.J. Watt and Jadeveon Clowney combined for 4 sacks and 5 tackles for loss. As well, Indy veteran kicker Adam Vinatieri kicks field goal number 566 in his career, passing Hall of Famer Morton Anderson as the NFL's all-time leader in field goal makes. Stoyo, what did you think of this game and the Texans getting a big road win and finally getting a win this year?
It was a shootout. It was quite an interesting game. But I do have one question for Indy's head coach.
Yes.
What happened at the end?
Yep.
On 4th and 4 at your own 43, with 27 seconds left, you decide to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Please explain yourself. I have no idea what the thought was behind that. Because it pretty much cost you the game, or a tie.
Yeah. And this is...
Tie is not great, but at least it's not a loss.
Exactly. I don't know what's going on because I've heard a lot of experts, quote unquote, on Twitter and all over the place saying that they were 100% behind this decision. And
No, this is the worst decision I've seen in years.
yeah, even they're live and they're lining up and I'm like, ooh, ballsy. Like, I don't know what you're doing here. There's only 27 seconds left on your own 43. Punt it and take a tie. Going for it, almost like if you don't get it here, the Texans were 6 yards away from field goal range. I don't understand it, especially this being a division rivalry or a division battle. A tie is a whole lot better than a loss, in my opinion. You tie and then you play against each other later, and you can win the series. I don't understand.
Even if you go for it and you get your first down, then what? You're at like the 50?
Yeah, exactly.
You're still miles away with 27 seconds left. So basically, you just have to punt there.
On top of this, T.Y. Hilton was ruled out of the game with a hamstring injury. So you're trying to do this without T.Y. Hilton, your best receiver. Gavin, what did you think of this decision?
Yeah, I didn't get it at all. I'm all for not like going for a tough decision, like going forward on 4th down and things like that. But this didn't make any sense whatsoever. You guys really covered all the points already. If you don't make it, Houston's right there. You hadn't been able to stop them on offense.
Yeah.
The rest of the game, why do you think you'd be able to start now? With T.Y. Hilton out, you really just have a dink and dunk offense. Which is kind of what they've been doing all this year anyways. A lot of short passes to the wide receivers and to Ryan Grant. And so you're okay, you made it to the 45 or the 50, wherever you're at. Congratulations. Now what are you going to do? I don't remember if they had any timeouts or not, but even if they did, I think that the chances of victory were so low and the chances of defeat were significantly higher. And so I know that the unfortunate thing is that he would have taken crap if he had punted. Say, oh, you didn't go for the win. Like, you're happy with the tie, kissing your sister and all that stuff. But I think that it would have been much smarter to have punted away. And don't bring that, well, what about the Mike Vrabel play? Totally different. They were losing. If they punted, they lose the game.
Exactly.
Not even comparable. So
I was gonna bring that up. Vrabel.
Yeah, let's not. It's apples and a pear tree.
Yeah, because you're losing. You're on your opponent's 33. You're not on your own side of the field. You're down. You're trying to win a game. That I completely agree with. When you're tied with only 27 seconds left, punt the ball. I mean, just to reiterate, just to be clear, a tie is better than a loss, right? I'm not losing my mind here.
No.
I don't get it, but Frank Reich's a rookie head coach, and he'll learn from his mistakes. The Colts will look to bounce back this Thursday night at New England. Big game there. That should be